Means no repeating, just one line only. Have you found it? Good. Palaya prayoyitile dithavanasi vedam. I'll sing two lines. Vita bahitra charitram akedam. Actually, it's like Namaste Narsingha. We'll sing the whole thing, huh? All together. Kesavadvita mina sharira Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Shitteriha, all together. Shitteriha vipulakade tishtati tava prishte Darani darana kina sakragarishte Keshavadvita kurma sharira Jai Jagadish Hare Hare Vasatira Shanna Shikare Dharani Tavalagna Shini Kalanka Kale Vanimagna Keshavadvita Shukara Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Tavakara Kamala Varena Kama Buddha Shringa Dalita Hiranya Kashipu Dubena Keshavadvita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Chalayasi Vikamane Balimad Vamana Padanaka Nirajanita Janapavam Kesavadvita Vamana Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Satya Hrimaye Jadapadata Papam Napayasi Payasi Samitam Bhavatapam Keshavadvita Trikopati Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Vitarasi Dikshurane Dikpati Kamaniyam Dashakamori Dale Ramaniyam Keshavadita Narahari Shiva Pushi Sadeva Sanam Dharma Halahati viti milita yumunam Keshapadvita haladara rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Indasiya Gavine Aha Shuddhi Jatam Sadaya Vidaya Dharita Asudhatam Keshapadeta Buddha Sharira Kesha Hare Nivahanitane kalaya sikaramam Kumaketami vasyamapikaram Keshavadeta karulki sharira Jai Jagadisha Jaya Deva Kavedamoditam Udaram Shinu Sukadam Shubhadam Bhavasaram Keshavadeta Dashaveda Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Slightly different tune, I think. I had to sing that last one. We'll leave that. We'll go back to the Vamana one. Chalayasi Vikramane Palim Mahadbhuta Vamana Paranaka Nirajanita Janapavam Kesapadeta Vamana Rupa Kesapadeta Vamana Rupa Kesapadeta Vamana Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Chalayasi Vikramane Palim Adbhuta Vamana Paranaka Nirajanmadana Pavana Kesapadeta Vamana Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. We just read the translation to verse 5. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of a dwarf Brahmin. All glories to you, O wonderful dwarf. By your massive steps you deceive King Bali, and by the Ganges water that has emanated from the nails of your lotus feet, you deliver all living beings within this world. Notice Krishna is not mentioned because he's avatari. These are all expansions of Krishna for various reasons. Some of them within the realm of the material world, some have their, you could say, their eternal form there. Both forms are eternal, even the one in this world, but also their equivalent form there in the spiritual realm, the same as that which appears, like Lord Balaram, for instance. But most of them are assumed. They take on the form for various purposes within the material, but they're eternal within the realm of the pastimes manifest. And that last verse, text 12, summarizes the previous verses. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Gopi Jana Balava Girivardhari
Gopi Jana
Yasodnandana Vraja Janaranjana
Yashodanandana Vrajanaranjana
Yamunatira Vanachari
Yamunatira Vanachari
Hey Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari.
Oh Premanandi, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Panchatattva ki jai, Shri Vamana Dev's appearance day ki jai, Gauranga Nityananda. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Grand, all glories to Shri Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Vichardine Nivasesha Shunyavadi Pasta Chardi Shatari. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasti Gaur-Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Welcome everybody this morning. I think it's Sunday morning, is it? Sunday morning, the day of rest. Sunday. I also feel like joining the majority there. What to do. We're here, and today is a very auspicious day. It's a very, very auspicious day today. Special dvadasi today. Huh? It's not an ordinary dvadasi today. It's called Vijay Dvadasi, huh? Victory. And on this particular dvadasi, this is the day when Lord Vamana defeats Bali Maharaj. It was a very special day. Lord Vamana appeared at midday. So generally on these days of the appearance day of the specific avatars, which are listed in Bhagavatam, that we generally fast. But because yesterday was Ekadashi, so there will be some breakfast this morning for the devotees. And of course this is Sunday, so you have a Sunday program?
No, we had it actually yesterday. We had a Saturday program.
Oh, we had a feast yesterday. Well, that's how it works. Okay. Saturday night out, and Sunday you can rest. That's nice. Sunday is a day of rest. Okay, so it wasn't a day of rest for Lord Vamana as such. It was a day of pastimes. But anyway, he appeared, and normally there's a feast on this day at lunchtime, midday. Many Gaudiya Vaishnavas, maybe other Vaishnavas too, they fast entirely, and the feast would actually be tomorrow. So there will be a feast tomorrow, because tomorrow is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's appearance day, so you're going to have a big feast here tomorrow. Yeah. Hundreds of devotees will come for the noon program tomorrow, and there'll be a big feast. And there will be a big feast, I think every day this week. There's a good reason to have a feast. What is it the next day? Haridas Thakur's disappearance day the next day? Yeah, on Tuesday. Tuesday it'll be, I guess. I mean, I haven't got my calendar here, but I assume, I don't know. You have to check it out. But on that day, Prabhupada said you should fast till the evening on Haridas's Tirobhav. You know that? The devotee said it's because of Haridas Thakur. Prabhupada said no, it's Ananta Chaturdasi. He midway through the Chaturmasya period. He said that time we should fast. There's different stories of Lord Narayan turning over in his sleeping period and so on and so forth. But nobody ever did it. And maybe some devotees do it, but it never got implemented within ISKCON, and neither did Prabhupada follow it. But he said actually you should fast. It's like on these Vishnu Tattva days. Strict Vaishnavas don't eat at all on these days. They fast and break fast. They may even fast. Tomorrow is another festival day, so you can fast for 5 days if you want, and break fast on Wednesday or something like that. But Prabhupada didn't do that, and we don't do that. The main thing is we try to glorify those personalities. We're not here just to give up, we're here to accept. So to hear about Krishna, to hear about his devotees is the recommended thing on these particular festival days. And today, of course, many devotees returned to their homes, and they've been very busy the last couple of days, so obviously not so many devotees are here this morning, but still, it's important to hear. So this, I thought that we just briefly summarize a little bit of the pastime, just a little build up, and then just hone in on a couple of verses with some interesting points. The topic is very big. When the Lord appears in this world, it's one of the reasons he appears, besides to establish religion, remove demoniac influences and so on, enliven his devotees and so on. But in the line of enlivening devotees, Prabhupada said he performs amazing pastimes so that we have something to remember. He could get rid of any demon without even thinking about it practically. He doesn't need to come personally. He comes to perform pastimes with his devotees, and also to give us, the conditioned souls, an opportunity to become purified by hearing his pastimes and so on. So that's one positive reason. I would like to read a verse from the, I'll just summarize first if I can remember. Difficult when you're very tired, but we'll try. In the ongoing, in this universe, is ongoing, you could say, rivalry between the demigods and the demons. This is a part of this material, the duality. So generally the demigods come out victorious, and they did come out very victorious previous to this. And more or less they killed, even Bali, who was at that time the leader of the demons, was killed by the demigods. But he was revived by his spiritual guide. Even the demons have spiritual masters. Maybe they're not devotees of Vishnu, but they're spiritual guides at least. And his spiritual master was named Shukracharya. So Shukracharya was very powerful. He's an expansion of Lord Shiva. So he's very powerful, and he was able to revive Bali Maharaj and bring him back to life, as well as the other demons too. And in this way, Bali Maharaj became very much dedicated to Shukracharya, and worshipped him as a guru. And Sukacharya was very pleased that he was in the line of the Bhrigu dynasty, and all the various Brahmins, powerful dynasty of Brahmins, they all supported or gave their assistance to Bali Maharaj. And Bali Maharaj was becoming very, very powerful because he was pleasing the Brahmins. He was even the demons, most of them, maybe not all, but most of them knew the Vedas. They even knew that Krishna was their enemy, that he was classified as God, but they hated him and they were trying to kill him in general. Bali Maharaj was not that type of demon, or he was born in a demoniac family, but he didn't have a demoniac heart. He was the king of the demons because he was born in that family. But he himself was not demoniac. He was actually a hidden devotee. So anyway, he was worshipping the Brahmins and very charitable and so on. They engaged him in performing many Ashvamedha sacrifices to attain power, to conquer the universe, basically. And after some time, he amassed a very large army of demoniac soldiers. They then started to usurp. They started to, conquer the universe, and eventually they came to the heavenly planets, Indra's abode. And when Indra saw them coming from a distance, they were already on the outskirts of the kingdom, and he was very concerned. He'd never seen such a powerful, confident army led by this effulgent Bali Maharaj, who he thought was dead, was now more effulgent than the sun. He was very powerful, and everyone could see he meant business. He had been given or awarded by the Brahmins in the Bhrigu dynasty with tremendous power, almost unconquerable almost by material means. So Indra was very worried. He went to his spiritual master Brihaspati for advice. Brihaspati advised him and he said, look, right now, time is against us. There's no way you're going to be able to defeat him right now. The best thing is to get out of here. So he advised Indra and all of his demigods, not all, I mean Brahma and really high ones who are not in this, they're in a different plane, but the general heavenly demigods, he advised them all to become invisible so they could not be seen and to go incognito. So they disappeared from the scene, and Bali Maharaj very easily just entered into the heavenly kingdom, took over Indra's throne, took over the kingdom of heaven. So he basically conquered all the planetary systems of the universe, not including the very high ones, Jnanaloka, Tapaloka, Brahmaloka, and so on. But up to that point, he conquered all these planes of living entities in the universe, up to the heavens. Indra's abode is generally termed as the heavens. So he conquered all the way up there. So the demigods were out of a job, you can say. They were unemployed, more or less. And it wasn't a very good situation, especially the mother of the demigods, whose name was Aditi. There were two sisters, Diti and Aditi. Diti was giving birth to demons, like Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu and others. Aditi was the mother of the demigods, like Indra and others. So she was very disturbed that all of her sons are now, like any mother, have lost their jobs and they're struggling. And like any Indian mother would be very unhappy if their son is not working. Every son, Indian son, has to have a good occupation, a wife, a home, a this, a that. Everyone, every mother, but especially Indian. And so she was very disturbed, so what to do? She was praying, hoping that somehow they'd be reinstated. Her husband, she approached her husband, Kashyapa Muni, who gave her this sacrifice called Payovrata, sacrifice which she performed, austerities and so on and so forth for some period of time. She performed it very faithfully, because he said, And even Brihaspati had told Indra that the only thing that can save you now is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so in the Buddhist mind, Aditi performed these yogas, this Payavata yoga, sacrifice for Vishnu. And eventually Lord Vishnu appeared before her. And she expressed her desire that she prayed to the Lord to help her to reinstate her sons in their position in the heavens. So the Lord agreed to become her son because no one else could really affect this desire or fulfill this desire. So he agreed to become her son. And sure enough, in due course of time, he appeared at this auspicious moment. Abhijit, the middle of the day, on this very auspicious occasion. When he appeared, he had 4 arms, and it were all symbols of Vishnu, so everyone was confident this is the Lord who's appeared now to fulfill our desire. Very auspicious moment. There was kettle drums, so on and so forth. Of course, unseen to the demons, this is all going on. Demigods were incognito, but they all appeared there, and they all awarded. This young boy then transformed himself into a beautiful dwarf. Dwarf meaning a young Brahmin boy. It wasn't like the dwarfs that we see walking around sometimes. But in this case, he looked like a young boy. He was called a dwarf because he was very small. But he looked like a young boy, a brahmachari boy. So then he was awarded with all various kinds of items by his mother, his father. His mother gave various underwear, and his father gave a belt. And different demigods gave various items. Gave him a deer skin and different things. Pot for begging, kuvera. And Shiva's consort, Bhagavati, gave his first alms in the begging bowl. Like this, they all gave various things. A stick, brahmachari stick, so on and so forth. So he looked like a really very effulgent and very wonderful young Brahmin boy. So his intention, of course, was to reinstate the demigods. He'd taken it away, now he's going to give it back. Sometimes the demigods need to be taught a lesson too. We also sometimes in our lives, let's take a good example. If any of you have gone for, I saw Matsya distributing books yesterday, right? On the street. And I don't know if anyone else here, Manu was doing a few books, I think, too. And other devotees. And every book distributor knows that as soon as you start thinking, wow, I'm really good. I'm doing very well here. I'm on top of the situation here. What happens next, Manu? Nothing happens usually for hours on end. And you get people coming up and giving you all kinds of hard times. You get medications, you think it's signed and sealed, and at the last minute no, it's okay, and off they go. Something goes wrong. And after a few hours you think, my God, what's happening here? It's a common experience that Krishna gives and Krishna takes away. He is trying to help us. One of the main lessons in this whole pastime of Vamana, we'll hear later on, not now, is related to this experience. So Vamana was decided now's the time to reinstate the demigods and take away Bali Maharaj's false position and whatever his property, what he thinks is his property. So we're going to read from the 19th chapter, text 21, and this is, let me see where we're at here. Okay, we just go a little bit further on the introduction. So Vamana then appeared on the scene. Bali Maharaj at that time, when Vamana appeared, was performing a very, very powerful yajna with all the Brahmins of the Bhrigu dynasty. And they were assembled. If you've been to Gujarat. This took place in Gujarat. Anyone from Gujarat? No one from Gujarat? You're not from Gujarat? No. We had a West Bengali here yesterday. Where's he gone? Is he?
Back to Bengal.
Back to Bengal. Okay, that's good news. That's the end of that troublemaker. So if anyone's from Gujarat, you will know very well. There's a river there, a famous river. You may know the name. What's the famous river in Gujarat? There are many famous rivers in India. In Gujarat particularly, there's one very famous river called the River Narmada. River Narmada. Very big river. And there's one town there, and if you're from India, you'll probably pronounce it differently. It looks like Barguch on the map. Barguch is, yeah. It's right on the river Narmada, on the northern side of the river Narmada. That's said to be the place where this yajna took place. It was called Brigukach. Now it's Barguch. It's almost the same. And this great yajna is said to have taken place in that, what's now seen, anyway, that area, on the banks of the river Narmada. There was Bali Maharaj with all the Brahmins of the Brigu dynasty, with Shukracharya, and this yajna was to give them almost, nothing's infallible in this world, but as infallible as you could get power to remain in their position. So, of course, the demigods were really worried about this. 100 Ashvamedha yajnas. That means he becomes Indra. That's it, full stop. He already done, but now it's even more powerful. So, what to do? So, it so happened that Vamana Dev appeared just as they're about to begin this great yajna. So when Bali Maharaj saw this little Brahmin boy coming, and he thought he was effulgent like many suns, entered into the arena of the sacrifice, and this is what even the demons used to do in those days. They didn't play these gross sports that you do nowadays. Even they would be performing Vedic yajnas, and they were. Life was a little different, I suppose. But usually they also knew that by giving charity to Brahmins, even though they didn't believe in God, and they believed he existed, but they wanted to kill him, they knew that they would get blessings of Brahmins and gain powers. So Bali Maharaj was very charitable, because he came in the line of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was his grandfather. His father was Varochana, who was also very, very charitable. He gave up his own body for the Brahmins, in fact. His line, maybe not so much with Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, also to some extent it was there, but not. But from Prahlad Maharaj, Varochana, and now Bali Maharaj, they were very, very charitable, very attached to that, giving charity to Brahmins particularly. So when he saw this Brahmin boy, he immediately was very impressed and attracted to him, in fact. Very attracted to him. So Bali Maharaj was thus wanting to give him charity. You've come at this moment, an auspicious moment, is my good fortune. Please, please, can I give you charity? Very auspicious, actually, a yajna, the opportunity to give charity to a very qualified Brahmana. Very auspicious, is considered to be a very good sign. So he wanted to give charity to Bali Maharaj, and he said, you can ask for me anything you like. And Bali Maharaj said, no, okay. Just give me 3 steps of land. He was a little boy, maybe a couple of feet tall. Just give me 3 steps of land. And how much would that be? Maybe 1 meter or something like that. You know? Not even the distance between me. Not even that far. 3 steps of land. It's peanuts. Not enough to grow peanuts on. Very small piece of land. So Bali Maharaj was thinking, what is this? You know, I think because you were very young, and although you were you can obviously see you were a wonderful, effulgent Brahmin boy, but perhaps because you were very young, your intelligence is not yet matured. You know, When people approach me for charity, no one should have to go away without completely having all they need for the rest of their life. You ask for me, whatever you wish, I can give you property so you don't have to worry anymore. You can have everything you need for the rest of your life in this world. Why only 3 pieces of land? I can give you planetary systems, whatever you want. No. Bali Maharaj replied, Vamana Dev replied, "Oh my dear king, even the entirety of whatever there may be within the 3 worlds to satisfy one's senses cannot satisfy a person whose senses are uncontrolled." He's giving somebody far-out philosophy here. Isn't that amazing? In this very simple one line here summarizes basically the frustration of everyone in the universe. For one whose senses are uncontrolled, nothing can satisfy you. Even if you've got the whole universe, you want more. Never satisfied. And Prabhupada said, commenting on Vamana Dev's statement, the material world is an illusory energy to deviate the living entities from the path of self-realization. Try to remember that. Its business is to deviate us. Of course, we can divert it towards Krishna, but generally the energy is one of deviation. Anyone who is in this material world is extremely anxious to get more and more things for sense gratification. You ever notice that? They're never satisfied, are they? They always want more, a new one, a new gadget, something. Always want more. People are never satisfied, not for long anyway. Actually, however, the purpose of life is not sense gratification. Kamasya nendriya patilabo jivatiya jivasya tattva jignasnatiyascha karmabi. It's meant for jivasya tattva jignas, inquiry into the absolute. It's not meant for karma, sense gratification. Kamasya nendriya, not meant for sense gratification. Human life is not meant for sense gratification. It's meant for inquiry into the nature of the absolute truth. That should be the goal of all our work. Not this working hard to get more sense gratification. New car, new house, new everything. New body. That's what we get from it. They work very hard. You have to work hard to go to hell. Right? In one sense. Become implicated. Therefore, those who are too addicted to sense gratification are advised to practice the mystic yoga system, or Ashtanga yoga system, consisting of yamana, yama, asana, pranayam, pratyahara, and so on. In this way, one can control the senses. We hear Prahlad Maharaj preach this to his dad also, didn't he? His father thought he conquered the universe, but Prahlad Maharaj thought otherwise. You haven't even conquered your own senses. Actually, the real business is to conquer your own senses, not to conquer the universe. But people don't realize that. They think the goal is to fulfill my sense desires. Some or other, whatever it takes, conquer the universe. Keep trying to fulfill your desires. He said, no, it's not. It's conquer your senses. And people don't realize that. So Ashtanga yoga is especially a process of trying to control our senses. If in this way one can control the senses, the purpose of controlling the senses is to stop one's implication in the cycle of birth and death. Otherwise we are controlled by the senses and they drag us from lifetime after lifetime all around the universe. Lord Rishabdev said, Nunam pramatak kurute vikarma. You just got back from West Bengal.
Yes, Maharaj.
They told me you went to West Bengal.
Ganga was chock-a-block.
Oh, the Ganga was too crowded, okay. You just came back from the Ganga.
Crocodiles in there.
Crocodiles. Huh? Many crocodiles in the river. Whiffy? Huh? A lot of whiff down there. Nunam pramatak kurate vikarma yadindriya pritaya apinoti nasaramanye yata atmanoyam asanapi kleshada ashadeha. When a person considers sense gratification the aim of life, he certainly becomes mad after materialistic living and engages in all kinds of sinful activity. People, they risk their life for sense gratification. They do anything to try to get some sense gratification. They eat any damn thing practically, right? If it tastes good, within reason. I mean, if they know it's going to be harmful for them, they might restrict themselves. Not everybody. Some people, even though they know it's harmful, they still can't resist it. You know, they write it on the packets of cigarettes, don't they? Smoking. It used to be cigarettes may be injurious to you. Then it became to your health. Then it became cigarettes cause health problems. Then it's like cigarettes are bad for your lungs. Then cigarettes cause heart problems. And then cigarettes, you know, on and on it goes. Now it just says smoking kills. Full stop. Two words. Smoking kills. And still people smoke.
And they have pictures now. Pictures of the disease, the effects of the disease on the box, big pictures.
On the box itself. Still people smoke. They're called mad. That's what madness means. They know it's not good for you, but still they do it. Can't resist it. Mad, uncontrolled senses. And no one's, what are anyone doing about controlling the senses? Nothing much. Just trying to fulfill the sense demands by giving more promises. More false promises. This is Maya. The leaders of society are also in the same bracket. They're not giving no hope for the people. They just feed them sense gratification to get their votes. We will reduce the taxes. We will give you more, pensions. We will give you more education grants. We will give you more houses. We will give you more facilities, more jobs, more money, so you can enjoy more. And as soon as they get in power, they put the taxes up, right? They reduce the pensions. They slash the grants. As soon as they get in, they just immediately increases the taxes. So that was a ticket for coming into power. And the first thing they do is increase the taxes. The people just don't cash it, it's just cheating world. When a person considers, we read, he does not know that due to his past misdeeds he has already received a body which, although temporary, is the cause of his misery. Actually, the living entity should not have taken on a material body, but he has been awarded the material body for sense gratification. That's what we want it for. Therefore, I think it is not befitting an intelligent man to involve himself again in the activities of sense gratification, by which he perpetually gets material bodies one after another. Sense gratification. Yehi sansparshaja bhoga. What does that mean?
That's the first line again.
Yehi sansparshaja bhoga.
Sansparsha. Contact, happiness which is due to contact with the material senses is limited and temporary.
Okay, really, Sanskrit scholar. Atlanta? Atlanta. I don't go through, just get the translation.
Happiness which is born in contact is limited and temporary. Those who derive happiness from sense perception, they're not intelligence,
those who are intelligent, they don't go there, right?
Yeah.
They don't take pleasure in this sense. They say, no, this sense gratification has a beginning and an end. It's the cause of misery in this world. We think, okay, it's an immediate cause of a little relief, isn't it? Like a drug. You take the drug to relieve your itch. And then it comes back much worse afterwards. Material sense gratification is like that. It's like you get caught and you can't go back on it. And never ending, more and more and more. Wise person does not take delight in this sense gratification, or the objects of the senses. He doesn't delight in these things. He knows they have a beginning and end cause misery, so he doesn't waste his time in that way. Thus, according to Rishabdev, the human beings in this world are just like madmen, engaged in activities which they should not perform, but which they do perform only for sense gratification. And people may even know it, at least theoretically know that this is not good. You feel it in your heart, still you do it, driven by lust. Lust. Lust is basically the opposite of love, in reality. Lust to try to enjoy for yourself, love is to bring pleasure to Krishna. That's real love. People are not in that. They don't have that understanding. Unfortunately, they're not educated. And they don't accept it, even if you try in general. Such activities are not good, because in this way one creates another body for the next life as punishment for his nefarious activities. They don't learn. I mean, this type of Parikshit Maharaj rejected Shukadev Goswami's suggestion that you have to atone for your sins. He said, what's the use of that? Because people still want to sin. They don't want to suffer the reaction, but they still don't want to give up their sinning. No one can completely stop sinning, but at least we have to recognize it and follow the religious directives to deal with it. But they don't want to do that. And as soon as he gets another material body, he is put into repeated suffering in material existence. Therefore, the Vedic culture, or Brahminical culture, teaches one how to be satisfied with possessing the minimum necessities in life. We're supposed to, it's like that verse we quoted earlier, human life is not meant for sense gratification. One should just live a healthy life, just with what you need. Ishyavasyamidam sarvam yatkincha jagacham jagatena jaktena bunjidam bhavidakashasvidam. What does that mean?
Everything animate and inanimate is owned and controlled by love. Therefore, one should accept those things set aside as his quota, and not accept other things knowing well to whom they belong.
Yes, what we need. Quota is what we need. We have a human body with various talents. We should act according to that and accept only what we need to sustain that particular situation, not more. In this way one can progress a little towards the spiritual path if we follow the religious directions and utilizing. So the same thing is said here. We have to be satisfied with possessing the minimum necessities of life. People are never satisfied because they want the maximum. They're called anarthas, unnecessary. Mostly the things people want, they say they have no money, but in many cases people spend most of their money on unnecessities, useless stuff. So many perfumes, and different things, medicines because they're so unhealthy, because they don't live a healthy life. They eat rubbish, they don't walk, they're irregulated, dirty, and so many things causing all kinds of environmental and social issues. And people's health is mentally and physically bad, so the money goes there like anything. They work 100 miles away, they have to have a car to get there. And everything, they have to have all these various clothes because of their lifestyle, 100 pairs of shoes. Some ladies, they just can't avoid buying things. All the time, I've been in even devotees' houses, every day there's another parcel coming from Amazon. There's some rubbish in it, another coat, another, something. This, that, the other, the latest cover for your computer, throw the other one away. A new mobile, no money, and they're walking along with an Apple iPhone. And the guy says, I got no money. No job, and he's got an Apple iPhone in his hand. You get that? Maybe he pinched it. To teach the highest culture, Varnashram Dharma is recommended The aim of the Varnashram divisions, Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas, is to train one to control the senses and be content with the bare necessities of life. A big topic. Here Lord Vamandev, as an ideal brahmachari, refuses Bali Maharaj's offer to give him anything he might want. He says that without contentment, one could not be happy even if he possessed the property of the entire world or the entire universe. That is described, I don't know if it's described here, I haven't read it, but that a brahmachari, Brahmin, is especially one who is content with whatever he's got. Not a Brahmin if you're hankering for more. I mean, we mean facilities externally and so on. A Brahmin is one who's content with whatever he's got. It's like Chanaka Pandit. He lived very simply, as soon as he was offered something extra, he immediately left the kingdom. Brahmin is not greedy. In human society, therefore, the Brahmin culture, Kshatriya culture and Vaishya culture must be maintained, and people must be taught how to be satisfied with only what they need. In modern civilization, there is no such education. Everyone tries to possess more and more, and everyone is dissatisfied and unhappy. The Krishna conscious movement is therefore establishing various farms, especially in America, to show how to be happy and content with minimum necessities of life and to save time for self-realization, which one can very easily achieve by chanting the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, I'll just read the next verse, there's no purport to it. And Vamana continues, if I were not satisfied with 3 paces of land, then surely I would not be satisfied even with possessing one of the 7 islands, consisting of 9 varshas. Even if I possessed 1 island, I would hope to get others. It's the nature of this world. It's asat. We don't really belong here. No matter what you get, it doesn't really fulfill one's inner heart desire. So there's one lesson to learn, important lesson. And of course, eventually, Bali Maharaj agreed to give. Okay, if that's what you want, so be it. And when giving charity, of course, normally one does achaman, and it's a whole thing. It's not just here you go, take this. But it's like an actual offering. You're offering it to the Brahmin. You're offering it to Krishna. You don't just like stick it on the altar. Eat this. It's respectfully, offer. So it's a funny story, isn't it? He was about to perform an achaman in order to make this offering. Shukracharya told him, don't do it, don't give him anything. You're going to lose everything. Don't do it. And Bali Maharaj said, no, I promised to give. I can't go back on my promise. There's many lessons to learn. He refused, but you say, then Shukracharya tried to reason with him. If giving charity causes disturbance to the family, he wasn't proceeded with the Om and all kinds of different things. He said, you're not obligated. Don't you understand? This is going to be a disaster for your whole family. You don't give a promise that's going to do. He tried to reason. He said, no. Bali Maharaj said, no, I promised. He said, don't you realize this boy is your avowed enemy? He used every tactic he could to stop him. And then Bali Maharaj thought, well, all along we've been offering yajna, and one of the personalities is Vishnu, and now we say no. So he actually rejected the instruction of his spiritual master. In this case, when the spiritual master becomes atheistic or opposed to the objective goal of Vishnu, worship to Vishnu, Yogya by Vishnu, that is one case you can reject the spiritual master. And Bali Maharaj said that, there's one thing in this universe, or at least on this planet, Earth planet. Mother Earth can tolerate anything, but she can't tolerate a liar or one who breaks their promise. So he couldn't tolerate it. He said, in our dynasty, he cited various personalities who were great personalities who would not break their promises. And even Aranyaksha, I mean, they were powerful personalities, and very many good qualities in one sense. He cited different persons like Maharaj Shibi and Rantidev and others who attained eternal fame by giving charity. As we see in the Bhagavad Gita, one has been fame, infamy is worse than death. So he was very attached to that, maybe a little materially, but very attached to keeping his promise, maintaining his righteous fame, so to speak. And he refused to follow his spiritual master's instructions. So the spiritual master, Shukracharya, it wasn't so much that he was really concerned about his disciple as such. He was, in one sense, more concerned about his own welfare, because if Bali Maharaj loses everything, then Shukracharya is also pretty much destitute, out of a job, And Brahmins there, nowadays, many Brahmins are like Sudras, they're just employed, they're paid, and even sometimes it's like that. I mean, I don't know exactly, but sometimes they become attached to the service because of the money, not the service. I know one case of that. I was asked to send some devotees to a temple to help with the deity worship once. I had one devotee who was a Brahmin and wanted to do deity worship, and we sent him there. They wouldn't let him do it because the others are getting paid, and if he does it, then they won't get paid.
Maharaj, one time I was looking through some quotes. I was asked to do some kind of brahminical job for one temple that's up and coming, so to speak. And I researched Prabhupada's quotes on doing marriages for people that are not initiated members. And Prabhupada said, you can let them use the temple, but they have to bring their own priest to do the ceremony, because they're not our initiated members, and they're taking the karma.
Yeah, there are many different quotes, details.
Yeah, I was wondering, my question was, could you have any counter quotes or something like that? Because that's the one that I have stuck in my head. That's what I kind of judge off.
I'll leave that to others. This is another important subject, you could say. Controversial subject, you might say. Touchy subject, you might say. There are many different quotes. I mean, Prabhupada said Brahmins should never take a salary, for instance. Teachers, Brahmins, should never take. There are many. These are certainly the proper situations. Everything's topsy-turvy in Kali Yuga. There are many quotes you can say even about the rules and regulations of brahmacharis, grihastas, sannyasis, and how many follow, strictly speaking. We understand that's how it should be. And as much as possible one should do that, but it seems that it's not always easy to maintain all the various ideals. We should definitely try to, and should institute something other than a program to establish the ideals. But there are many things you could talk about in that regard. I'll leave that for another time. So, where were we? We were moving on here. Yeah, so then Shukracharya, this is the story that goes, it's not there in the Bhagavatam. But then he, being a mystic, he had mystic yogic powers also, so he reduced his size and he entered into the pot. When you do achaman, you have this little kettle, little copper. And he blocked the entrance so the water couldn't come out. Entered in there, so Bali Maharaj just, and no water's coming out. He wondered what's happening. He thought maybe it's blocked or something. So Bali Maharaj took a needle and he pushed it down the water spout. And it apparently pierced Shukracharya's eye, and blood was coming out. You see these pictures. This is, anyways, a funny little story. But he was so determined to fulfill this promise that he made. So sure enough, eventually he did. And then what did Vamana Dev do? Little kid, how much, nothing to worry about here. What are you worried about? Shukracharya cursed him. He said, if you do this, you're going to lose everything. And I curse you, you go down to the lower planets. He was very angry with him. But Bali Maharaj, despite that, he went ahead. So Vamana Dev then expanded himself a little bit, didn't he? He grew a little bit, like a frog in the well or something. No. He suddenly expanded himself so large that he, practically speaking, his body covered the entire lower and middle planetary systems. One step he took, finished. The lower and middle planetary systems were covered by his first step. His second step, whoosh, he covered the entire heavenly planets. Nothing left. You said 3 steps. Where am I going to put my third step? Come on. Not yet. Not yet. Bewildered. Everything's gone. Can you imagine what a shock? What a shock. Everything's gone. Krishna expanded like universal form. He covered everything. Everything was within him. He saw the whole universe is within the form. Vamana. Where's the third step? You've broken your promise. Arrest him. So Garuda arrested Bali Maharaj with ropes of Varuna and tied him up. Humiliated like a dog. Tied up, bound up with ropes. And Bali Maharaj's head down. Totally humiliated. Absolutely defeated. So he said, my Lord, I cannot break this promise. There's one thing. Please put your foot on my head. Take your third pace. Put it on my head. He put his head down. Vamana, famous picture, puts his foot on the head of Bali Maharaj. In this way, he's famous for fulfilling his promise and surrendering everything. He's not Atmani Veda, one who gave everything. He gave everything. Gave everything for the Lord. Surrendered everything, including his own body, to the Lord. Lord Vamana is very pleased in that sense. Of course, he had to go down after a while to the lower planets, but Prahlad Maharaj appeared on the scene also, his grandfather. And a wonderful, wonderful scene here. He became glorified for his act of surrender. And as you may know, he did go down. Lord Vamana Dev selected the Sutala planet for him to go to. And he said, I will also go with you as your doorkeeper. I will be there always with you to protect you, don't worry. You will also eventually become Indra for 30,000 years after your time in the lower planets. Prahlad Maharaj went down, everyone went down with him. But there's two more little things I'll mention. Many things, but 2 more things. We're going to move on to the chapter 22, I think it is. 22, text number 20, let's see. Yeah. When he was in that situation, Vamana Dev, he was tied up. He surrendered the universe. Lord Brahma appeared on the scene, started to glorify Lord Vamana and so on. But as Brahma was just about to speak, Bali Maharaj's wife, Vindhyavali, was naturally very disturbed by the whole event. She was kind of out of the picture. And everything's been lost. She'd lost all her shoes, all her saris, all her jewelry.
Amazon account.
Lost her Amazon account. Everything was lost to Vamana Dev. And naturally she's very disturbed. He never even asked her. Can you imagine a wife, you gave everything away without asking her. Even Manu Prabhu, if your wife went out shopping and she came back and saw there's absolutely nothing left, and there you were tied up with rope, she might be happy. But normally the wife would be, she'd be really upset. There wasn't even a frying pan to hit him on the head with. So she was also a little disturbed. She was a little fearful what was going on also, what's happening here. And she went to her husband. Srimati Vinjavali said, "Oh my Lord," she's talking first to the Supreme Personality, Krishna, the Lord. "Oh my Lord, you have created the material universe for the enjoyment of your personal pastimes." It's another aspect. But foolish, this is the most important point of the whole pastime. Don't miss this one. To me, this is the most important thing in the whole pastime. You have created this universe for the enjoyment. I don't know what's going on here, but it needs maximum attention. Otherwise, you're going to miss the most important lesson to learn from this pastime. You'll never get out of the material world unless you learn this one. But foolish, unintelligent men have claimed proprietorship for material enjoyment. Certainly they are shameless agnostics. Falsely claiming proprietorship, they think they can give charity and enjoy. In such a condition, what good can they do for you? Who are the independent creator, maintainer, and annihilator of this universe. This is going to take a lot of effort on your part to pick this up. Huh?
Could you read that last sentence again?
I might have to read everything again because non-stop there's interference going on here. Oh my Lord, this has been Vinjavali. Maybe the door can be closed. I can't even concentrate myself. Huh?
It's distracting from our...
Pardon?
I'm saying go in or go out because it's distracting.
Go in?
Go in or go out because it's distracting.
Yeah, it's very distracting. I can't concentrate myself. This is the key thing. Oh my Lord. Can we close the door, please? Vinjavali is speaking. Oh my Lord, you have created the entire universe for the enjoyment of your personal pastimes. But foolish, unintelligent men have claimed proprietorship for material enjoyment. Certainly they are shameless agnostics. Falsely claiming proprietorship, they think they can give charity and enjoy. In such a condition, what good can they do for you, who are the independent creator, maintainer, and annihilator of this universe? And Prabhupada writes, Bali Maharaj's wife, who was most intelligent, supported the arrest of her husband and accused him of having no intelligence. Quite the opposite to what you think. She accused him of having no intelligence. We always see him as being the greatest example. Huh? And Vinjavali said, you have no intelligence, you are a foolish agnostic. He called her husband a fool, an agnostic, no intelligence. Because he had claimed proprietorship of the property of the Lord. Such a claim is a sign of demoniac life. Although the demigods, who are officials appointed by the Lord for management, are attached to material enjoyment, they never claim to be proprietors of the universe. For they know that the actual proprietor of everything is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the qualification of the demigods. But the demons, instead of accepting the exclusive proprietorship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, claim the property of the universe for themselves through demarcations of nationalism. This part is mine and that part is yours, they say. This part I can give in charity and this part I can keep for myself or my own enjoyment. These are all demoniac conceptions. This is described in Bhagavad Gita. Idam ajya maya labdam, imam prapsye manoratam. Thus far I have acquired so much money and land. Now I have to add more and more. In this way I shall be the greatest proprietor of everything. Who can compete with me? These are all demoniac conceptions. Bali Maharaj's wife accused Bali Maharaj by saying that although the Supreme Personality of Godhead had arrested him, showing him extraordinary mercy, and although Bali Maharaj was offering his body to the Supreme Lord for the Lord's third step, he was still in the darkness of ignorance. Actually, the body did not belong to him, but because of his long-standing demoniac mentality, he could not understand this. He thought that since he had been defamed for his inability to fulfill his promise of charity, and since the body belonged to him, he would free himself from defamation by offering his body. Actually, however, the body does not belong to anyone but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by whom the body is given, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 18:61, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Videshajuna Tishtati. The Lord is situated in the core of everyone's heart, and according to the material desires of the living entity, the Lord offers a particular type of machine, the body, through the agency of the material energy. The body actually does not belong to the living entity. It belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Under the circumstances, how could Bali Maharaj claim that the body belonged to him? Thus, Vinjavali, Bali Maharaj's intelligent wife, prayed that her husband be released by the Lord's causeless mercy. Otherwise, Bali Maharaj was nothing but a shameless demon, specifically described as Chuktvakayastvadarvarupita Kartrirvadaha, a foolish person claiming proprietorship over the property of the Supreme Person. In the present age, Kali Yuga, the number of such shameless men who are agnostics, disbelieving in the existence of God, has increased. Trying to defy the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so-called scientists, philosophers, and politicians manufacture plans and schemes for the destruction of the world. They cannot do anything good for the world, and unfortunately, because of Kali Yuga, they have plunged the affairs of the world into mismanagement. Thus, there is a great need for the Krishna conscious movement for the benefit of innocent people who are being carried away by propaganda of such demons. If the present status quo is allowed to continue, people will certainly suffer more and more under the leadership of these demoniac agnostics. So the lesson to be learned there is that Bali Maharaj was still a fool because he was thinking, as Vinjavali said here, that I have something to give. What do we have to give? In the Nectar of Devotion, there's two categories given. I can't remember exactly what bracket they come under, but one is one who surrenders everything. And Bali Maharaj is known for that, as being Atmanivedam. He surrendered everything. From the material perspective, yes, and we are on the material platform, so that's, you can see it as like karma yoga or something. It's good, karma yoga. There's another one called a surrendered soul. Surrendered soul is maybe a little different than one who surrenders everything. The higher stage. The soul who realizes that everything that exists, it belongs to Krishna. I belong to Krishna. The only thing we have to give is to give up the false conception that anything that exists is not meant for Krishna's pleasure. Everything that exists is meant for Krishna's pleasure. It is his property, including us. Everything is meant for the pleasure of Krishna. It's not a question of giving and therefore pleasing oneself by fulfilling one's promise. I did this. In other words, the mentality of me and mine. giving up this mentality of me and mine. This is mine to give. Even the talents we have, where do they come from? I am the ability in man. It's not mine.
We often hear at the start, you surrender everything, but you don't surrender your intelligence. Then Krishna says, I'm the intelligence of the intelligent. How does that work? I mean, we're still persons though as well, so we must have something.
You have to follow the intelligent, I guess. If you don't have any intelligence, you have to follow the intelligent. Arjuna lost his intelligence, he followed Krishna. He accepted Krishna as his intelligence. Krishna is giving intelligence to everyone according to your desires. They surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. So if you want to misuse your intelligence, Krishna will give you intelligence in that way also. If you want to come back to him, he'll give you intelligence in that way also. He gave Bali Maharaj intelligence because he was still proud, he was still thinking he was a proprietor, so he gave him that opportunity to surrender his body, so-called his body. And he thought he was feeling good now. Now I feel good. I fulfilled my promise. He's not necessarily thinking of Vamana Dev's pleasure. He's thinking of his own.
Could I just press on that one again? Just, but what do we have? What is it that we have?
Krishna. Prabhupada said the only thing you can say is yours is Krishna, nothing else.
Who are we that has Krishna?
Oh, you have to find that out. Right now, it's not what you think we are. We're still trying to contain Krishna within our mind and senses. What is Krishna? Is everything. He's everywhere, he's everything in one sense. Love. Pure love. Waking pure love.
It was really interesting. It reminded me of this. Krishna is the intelligence of the intelligent. And then yesterday I was listening to Prabhupada. So Prabhupada says, Krishna is giving us the intelligence. And then I was connecting it to that verse, Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hridesha Junatishti Brahmayan Sarvabhutam Yantra Rudran Maya. That's like a machine, the body's like the machine. Krishna is directing the wanderings. So I was recently using an analogy of Krishna's body's like a car, Krishna is the taxi driver, the mind is the steering wheel and the body is the senses. We are the passenger in the car, the front seat. Krishna is the driver.
You're a back seat passenger or a front
There's
seat?
three back seat passengers.
Three back seat.
We are the one in the passenger seat. There's three back seat passengers. That's the three modes of material nature.
And they're driving the...
Well, they're influencing the individual passenger. And then he desires, and he says to the taxi driver, bring me to the place where ignorance is.
My goodness.
So it's like, so then Krishna is actually one driving, and what we have, the only thing we have, is our desire, our free will, which mode we associate with.
Yeah.
So if we listen to Tamaguna, then we'll tell Krishna, I want to go to
That's a nice
drink
one,
some Guinness.
Yeah.
And if I listen to Rajaguna, I'll go to the stock market and make some money.
Yeah.
If I listen to Satvaguna, I'll be in the park doing meditation. But it's the modes influencing the Atma is desiring Krishna.
Wonderful example.
But then Krishna says, I am the intelligent, as Manipur was saying, I am the intelligence.
And who is the intelligent? Krishna Varna Trisha Krishna Sankopangasta Parshada. Yagya Sankirtanam Praya. Intelligent men in this age of Kali worship the Lord by performance of Sankirtan Yagya. That's the intelligence.
Yeah.
That's the intelligence, Sankirtan. Even if it's going to a park or a forest or a beautiful place, whatever it may be. But the real intelligent person listens to the Lord. And here he's telling us, Sankirtan. Yagya Sankirtan prayer. Drive that car on Sankirtan. Whatever the modes say, whatever your desires are, listen to Krishna's desire. And go on Sankirtan. Is that right?
Yes, of course.
Huh? That's the real intelligent person.
So like, ego is above intelligence.
Pardon?
If ego is above intelligence,
then how we can like cultivate a true ego, because it is not in our intelligence to do that.
What is true ego?
I am a servant of Krishna.
So, yeah.
I'm the servant of Krishna. How have you come to this point of doing some service to Krishna? Let's say we have false ego, but somehow or another now, you may still have false ego, but somehow or another you're trying to engage in service, is it not?
Yeah.
How is that possible?
The mercy of higher
It's true what you say, you can't do it on your own.
Right.
You can't do it on your own. You are under illusion, identifying, looking the wrong way. So how does it go? So if a man's blind, how is he going to cross the road?
Take the hand of a person who sees.
You have to have guidance, and you have to accept the guidance too. That's the difference. The guidance may be there, but you have to accept it. So that's another influence, you could say. Somebody who isn't blind, somebody whose intelligence is connected to Krishna. That's the essence of, even in material life. I mean, you don't know somebody, you ask somebody who knows. It's very difficult on your own. You need help. Everyone needs help on the spiritual path more than anything.
Just a practical example. You're talking about the backseat. One of the backseat drivers is mode of ignorance, and he's saying,
Super soul.
I want to go for Guinness. But actually, it's funny. Yesterday, you gave the example of Yogi Sankirtan prior. There's a chap you met actually. His name is Vigyesh.
Pardon? Chap you met?
Person you met yesterday. His name is Vigyesh or
Vignesh. Vignesh. Yeah.
Yeah, he was at the Guinness factory or something, towards that direction, down that way. And then he heard the Sankirtan, and so he came back.
Came over.
And you were talking to him. I went up on the bus with him last night.
Yeah, he came here afterwards too.
Yeah.
I remember his name, he was quite impressed.
Yeah.
I remember where he was from as well. He was from Pune, Indian man, Vignesh. He was a bit of a devotee. And he was drawn by the Sankirtan. His intelligence was being diverted to the Guinness Stout, and then some other Sankirtan party attracted him, brought him over the other way.
It's a really interesting example of the Paramatma from that verse. The Paramatma is the driver. But then, as you're saying, Maharaj, if the Sankirtan is going on within, then the modes, they can't grab a hold of the soul. Because the Atma is connecting with the Paramatma and saying, please engage me in your service. And that's the loudest vibration internally. His modes can't influence.
Why does Prabhupada say again and again, the only safe place is Kirtan? Why does he say that again and again?
His modes can't catch you.
As long as you're in Kirtan.
Pardon?
As long as you're in the Kirtan.
Yeah.
That's why, more Kirtan. More chanting and hearing about Krishna. Safe place. It's the only safe place. There is no other safe place. There's no other shelter in this universe. No other shelter. Even Jiva Goswami said that. Only in Kirtan. Other processes are there, but the risk factor is higher. Kirtan is the safest of all the processes. Safest. The last thing we'd like to mention is another last verse, and then we'll finish. In this wonderful pastime, I haven't isolated, I can't remember exactly where it is, I can look it up. There it is, that. It slipped my mind. I've slipped my mind with the verse. A bit tired this morning, not surprising after yesterday. Balimat surrenders the universe. What's that verse spoken by Shukracharya? Lord, after the whole pastime, the demigods regain the heavenly planets. Here it is. Here it is. After Prahlad Maharaj, Bali Maharaj, everyone's gone down, Lord Vishnu asked Shukracharya, interesting question. Shukracharya is playing a role, by the way. The Lord addressed Sukracharya, who was sitting nearby in the midst of the assembly with the priests. He said, "O best of the Brahmins, Sukracharya," this is Lord Vishnu speaking to Shukra, "please describe the fault or discrepancy in your disciple Bali Maharaj, who engaged in performing sacrifice. This fault will be nullified when judged in the presence of qualified Brahmins." He's asking, what's Bali Maharaj's fault? And then Shukracharya replies, "My Lord, you are the enjoyer and lawgiver in all performances of sacrifice. And you are the Yoga Purush, the person to whom all sacrifices are offered. If one has fully satisfied you, where is the chance of discrepancy or faults in his performance of sacrifice?" Now Shukracharya is like turning, the other way, you could say. Maybe to save his neck, I don't know. Not really, he's just, now his real nature is coming. And then the famous verse, perhaps the most famous verse in this whole section. Many devils miss it because it's not in the chapter directly dealing with Bali Maharaj. Mantratas tantatas chidram desha kalara vastutaha sarvam karoti nishchidram anusankirtanam tava. He says, there may be discrepancies in pronouncing the mantras and observing the regulated principles. And moreover, there may be discrepancies in regard to time, place, person, and paraphernalia. But when your Lordship's holy name is chanted, everything becomes faultless. This is a very famous verse. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recommended Harinama, Harinama, Harinama Eva Kevalam. In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is chanting the holy name of the Lord. There's no other way. In this age of Kali, it is extremely difficult to perform Vedic ritualistic ceremonies or sacrifices perfectly. Hardly anyone can chant the Vedic mantras with perfect pronunciation or accumulate the paraphernalia for Vedic performances. Therefore, the sacrifice recommended in this age is Sankirtan, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Yagya Sankirtanam Praya Yujanti Hi Sumedasa. Instead of wasting time performing Vedic sacrifice, those who are intelligent, those who possess good brain substance, are you hearing this? Those who are intelligent, those who have good brain substance, should take to the chanting of the Lord's holy name, and thus perform sacrifice perfectly. I have seen that many religious leaders are addicted to performing yagyas and spending hundreds and thousands of rupees for imperfect sacrificial performances. This is a lesson for those who unnecessarily execute such imperfect sacrifices. We should take the advice of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Yogya Sankirtan Prayer, Yajanti Hisu Medasha. Although Shukracharya was a strict Brahmin addicted to ritualistic activities, he also admitted, Nischidram Anu Sankirtanam Tava. My Lord, constant chanting of the holy name of your Lordship makes everything perfect. In Kali Yuga, the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies cannot be performed as perfectly as before. Therefore, Srila Jiva Goswami has recommended that although one should take care to follow all the principles in every kind of spiritual activity, especially in worship of the deity, there is still a chance of discrepancy. And one should compensate for this by chanting the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In our Krishna consciousness, the movement, we therefore give special stress to the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra in all activities. Hare Krishna. So again, intelligence, by chanting the holy name, your false ego will become cleansed. So intelligence means to perform Sankirtan, which will cleanse our false ego, and everything else will naturally fall into place. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Okay. Lord Vamana Dev ki jai.
Jai.
Yes, he came to break the false ego of Bali Maharaj. All of our false egos that we think we have. When Pritha Maharaj was approached by the four Kumaras, the fourth canto, Pritha Maharaj, of course, is a partial expansion of Godhead, but still, when the four Kumaras came, he immediately wanted to offer them whatever they wanted. They were Brahmin, like Vamana, young boys. But he said, actually, I have nothing to offer because it's already yours. I'm just like a bank manager. Everything belongs to you, but out of your mercy, you're too busy doing more important things. You allow us fallen Kshatriyas to take responsibility to look after your property and manage your kingdom, because you are representatives of God, the Supreme Personality. And he gave an example. You put money in the bank, but the bank doesn't own it. Although maybe nowadays it's changed, but that used to be the case. Terrible now, isn't it? They think you haven't got any say on something. In New Mayapur, one of our devotees went into a local bank last year. She wanted to withdraw, she wanted to deposit 200 euros and said, where did you get this from? Where did you get this money from? They want to know exactly where it came from, everything. They don't let us draw out more than 200 euros in any day from the bank. They won't give us a checkbook. It's not your money. They talk like this. The world's changed, hasn't it? They used to look after it for you. It's your money. They used to pay you for looking after your money. Because they use it. They use it to make money. But nowadays you have to pay them. A lot of money. Terrible. And they say, we're giving you all these nice facilities, cards, this, that, the other. But it's all cheating. All cheating. And people don't see it. Kali Yuga. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Okay, Hare Bol. Hare Krishna. Shri Vamana Dvadasi ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanandi.